Hey everybody, KC here. So you may remember that a couple of weeks ago we took note of an opinion piece that was in the Los Angeles Times by a woman named Stacy Torres, who's an assistant professor of sociology at UC San Francisco. And basically she was writing about the fact that supermarkets, she said, used to be her happy place. You know, you go in and she stroll the aisles and bop along to the easy listening music and exchange pleasantries with cashiers, and she just loved it. It was her happy place to be. And she said this is really important because she's someone with depression. But the problem has been that because of a lot of issues, things like theft and violence and stuff, supermarkets have become colder. They've been more focused on security. It's not as happy a place for her as it used to be. And she was just sort of decrying the fact that we've gotten to that point. Now, interestingly, the LA Times also just recently had a piece in which they reported that, and I quote, this year in a stark warning about epidemic levels of loneliness and isolation, the U.S. Surgeon General has dedicated a section of his advisory to the effects of technology on social connection. 2/3 of Americans said that technology has made it harder to meaningfully connect, and nearly 70% said that it has led to a decrease in empathy. 66% of people still, even despite all those numbers, say that they would choose self-checkout when they go into a store. And basically, the story was making the connection between the technologies of self-checkout and the fact that people are feeling more and more lonely, more and more isolated. And listen, it's only going to get worse if, in fact, the connection has any validity. More and more stores are putting in self-checkout. Self-checkout may be getting better. 40% of lanes right now are in the U.S. are self-checkout lanes. Kroger is testing a store that is all self-checkout. And then, of course, we have the checkout-free stores like Amazon Go, where there's no lane at all. And clearly, retailers are moving in that direction. Now, listen, I think retailers have to be careful not to be painted as the bad guys in a situation that is complicated, it's complex, it's nuanced. Right? A lot of stories about how, self-checkout is contributing to loneliness and depression in America wouldn't necessarily be good for the industry. Now, here's the deal. I've been thinking about this, and I've decided that maybe what should happen is maybe every store should have a chief people person. That's actually going to be a role in the store. And in fact, they should have several. So there's always one on duty when the store is open. Now, listen, yeah, I know retailers are trying to save money. They're trying to reduce headcount. But if by doing those things, what they do is they sort of sever the connections that they have to their shoppers, well, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. It's, being penny wise and a pound foolish. Now, think about this. A chief people person is somebody who would not have operational responsibilities. Can't be the store manager. Can't be the assistant store manager. They have things they've got to get done. They're not good at being just out among the public, just necessarily talking to people and making sure that everything is going smoothly from the customer's perspective. Now, if you do it right, that chief people person could be somebody who could step into an operational role on a moment's notice when the need calls for it. But that wouldn't be their job. Their job would to be the eyes and the ears of the store, and maybe even the heart of the store. It's interesting. Jimmy Buffett once wrote that the search for the spirit of the great heart. And maybe that's a search in which retailers also should be engaged, because the great heart that they have in that store through that chief people person could be the most important and most differentiating thing they have going for them. Anyway, that's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.